Very good morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning Anambra presentation this morning. This is our discussion segment, and I'd like to welcome your family. My name is GMA Uche. Hope you're having a very good time. Oh, today is Wednesday. Okay, kunume. After Kola, no problems, no problems. My co-boss wedding now, so come on, I find will you too. We'll have a topic that we want to look at, which is World Book and Copyright Day 2025 today, but their day anyway. And then celebrating books, protecting authors and rights is what we are cut out for this morning. And I hope you would like to join us and find out exactly why a whole lot of things are happening around book and booking, bookkeeping, and a whole lot of things. I have an expert that has joined me this morning to do this. He is Sachoka Nabife. Sachoka Nabife is an author, but a whole lot of things attached to his name. And Sachoka Nabife is an internationally renowned journalist and author of 6 books. He is also the managing director of Anambra State Civic and Social Reformation Office. Chuka is a fellow of the Nigerian Guild and Editors, a fellow of the Society of Nigerian Artists, and then he was the immediate past managing director and chief executive officer of the Anambra newspapers and printing corporation, publishers of National Light Group of newspapers, and then also the Nigerian cultural ambassador, among others. A whole lot of them. Maybe as we go on, you will get to know more about Chuka. I'd like to welcome you to Good Morning Anambra State. Chuka Nabife.
Good morning.
I didn't add that to you also, my boyfriend.
You've heard it. She can't deny it again.
Okay, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, today, 23rd day of April 2025 is World Book and Copyright Day. Can you give us background of that?
The World Book and Copyright Day is a day that the United Nations set out for the celebration of authors and their copyrights, and for making the world know the value of creativity and the value of copyrights, of the law that protects the author's rights to his creativity. It was in 2010 that the United Nations, through its organ, the UNESCO, that is the organ that oversees intellectual properties and things of creativity and arts, initiated that on every April 23. April 23 happens to be the date of death of the Grand Bard, William Shakespeare.
Okay.
It also happens to coincide with the date of several writers around the world, some notable writers around the world. But most importantly is why the date. The date is being used for the remembrance of everything. It used to be World Copyright Day, and eventually, about towards 2014, I'm not particular whether it's 2014 or 2013, and the UNESCO felt that it should be made World Copyright Books and Copyright Day.
Okay.
You understand? To bring out the main grains of creativity and copyright holdings that are in the creative thing, books. So you mentioned keeping the books. Okay, keeping the books though is more for more known for accounting, but it's still part of books. But this year's theme, the greater theme for this year's celebration is literature, that is using literature to achieve sustainable growth.
Okay, the role of literature in achieving sustainable development goals.
Okay. SDG.
Yes.
You understand? That is the canopy, universal theme for this celebration. And for this, what the world is being reminded today is the value of writing, the value of people who bend down. For you to do, let me actually tell you, it's just that, that you and I happen to find it easy to put things down in writing. I know some people that for their life, even if it involves having a gun on their or on their throat or on their head, they can't write a paragraph, let alone writing a page. They just can't. It is just as impossible to them as it is for a fowl to urinate.
You know why I smiled?
That's it. Yeah.
I remember when I was in secondary school, I think the greatest punishment you give me is to write essays. That was why when you said this, I smiled. Okay? But then if you give me about maybe 5 or 6 pages of essay to summarize, I could give it to you in 1 or 2 lines.
Yes.
And I'll catch everything that is said there. But don't ask me to write.
You are wired to understand. There are people who are wired to create, and they find it very hard. I once told is it my friends or my children? I once told them that the only book, when I knew the value of reading, was that in my high school and undergraduate days, the only course I finished reading my syllabus, I finished reading the textbook I had in was economics, because I was so challenged. I had a cousin, an elder cousin, who was is a teacher, but we thought it is because he wasn't so smart. That was why he was a primary school teacher. But one day I was reading, and my cousin was my elder by about 8 to 10 years. He came into where I was reading, and he said, "Are you reading O.A. Lawal? Something on basic economics?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Open page 1." I opened page 1, and he regurgitated. He just, like he crammed it. And he did secondary school at least 10 years before me. And he downloaded everything he was just reading, and I was flipping from page to page until we finished first chapter to second chapter. I said, wow. So I was so challenged, not motivated. I was challenged to read from cover to cover of that economics O-level economics book.
Okay, that was why you finished it. In economics.
Yes, it was because I got A1 in economics.
I had it
in my O-level, yes. That I told my children, if you read, any subject you read, you are sure of having a great mark in it.
It is.
But I am not a very good reader. I'm a very good writer. Anything that involves creating or writing. I can actually finish. Sometimes I finish. Let me not make it look easy. But I can finish a work in less than a month.
Okay, I think writers are better placed than the readers, because as you write, you read. Okay?
I don't think anyone is more. It's just that it appears adults more challenging.
As you write, you read.
Yes,
okay, don't you go back to what you're writing to make sure that
the best writing is rewriting. And that is the biggest challenge in writing. To read your work again, to edit, and to get yourself to fix the lines and fix the content to what you want your reader to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Welcome indeed. Now, let's start looking at this nagging topic, and then I think we'll have to base more on the theme of the celebration, 2025 celebration, like we have pointed out, which is getting all of what we want to know about reading and trying to see how we can apply it to our everyday life, which is the role of literature in achieving the sustainable development goals. That's the SDGs. Okay. Now, having said that, let us come to say, how can the literature serve as a catalyst for achieving the sustainable development goals? How can we do that? Because when you say that, people look at infrastructures, okay? Building roads, building this, and that kind of a thing. And now we are bringing in literature.
My sister, every piece of brick and mortar you see on the road was created.
Scripted.
From a dream to paper, from paper to whatever. And you can't even, what they build, or what you see as infrastructure, is just less than 10% of what was conceived. And what you see on the roads, what you see in facilities, what you see in policies, the writer has actually, or the creator, be it an artist, be it an architect, be it a potter or a sculptor, had actually imagined it. What the poet created, you know, when we were growing up, there was something called science fiction. It was like going to outer world to some of us. And when you read some of those things, you imagine they are not. What were those things that were imagined then were already happening now. All the things that you see in AI, they tell you there's an appliance. I'm using the language of then, not app, as we call it now. That is something that you can use it to edit your page. You can use it to create what does not exist. Put a voice of Chuka on a picture of Chuka taking another place, and I begin to wonder, how can it happen? You can speak to an imaginary crowd, and eventually you can create it, and it will be there. Those things we are looking like. They were looking like horrible dreams. In fact, nightmares. Sometimes they look like fantasy. But all the fantasies come, and that is the creation. Those are the creation of artists, writers. You understand? When they put it down. So when you talk about SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, what are they about? They are about infrastructural development. They are about helping the poor out of poverty. They are about creating jobs and empowerment. They are about facilities, making facilities that don't exist come to be. What this year
or improving on the existing ones.
On improving that on existing one, you got it. You got them. What's simply this year's World Book and Copyright Day? What it is telling us by the theme is actually to tell you that not just writing for writing's sake. Have a sense of community development. Have a sense of bringing out the lowly from their underlying situation. Have a sense of creating for the grassroots, not just trying to appease. I don't write just to appeal to the elite fantasy. Also write to appeal to the larger society. Consider themes that are going to help, right? Because let me tell you what happens to a writer. Maybe as I'm looking at your face now, I will be having some imaginations, some dreams. Don't you think you can inspire dreams?
I know.
So maybe as I'm looking at your face, or as I'm in this studio, there are some things that are happening, and I will have a dream, and it begins to nod me, begins to prod me, begins to, at a time, it turns to just the muse visiting me. I get in. I don't need to wait till I get to my office or get to my room or get to sleep. I could get, as I am getting out of the studio, before I get to the car, I'll take my notebook or now I can write through your appliances of the day. So I can get to and begin to do, I can tell you, I can't remember how many, for example, poems or plays that took their life from while I was commuting or driving in the street, or while I came to this kind of a visit. You understand?
Yeah.
So those things are, when you think more, have the room, faculty. Don't just write to appeal to the man on the blue chip companies, or in Aso Rock, or in Anambra, or anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Yesterday I was talking to some guy that came for the product. I was asking her, what are they planning for their day, or 8 day or something? They said that they're talking to policymakers And that's exactly what we're trying to bring down. And I asked her, how do you bring it down to the people that you want to talk to? Policymakers have always been there making politics, and nobody is executing, nobody is supervising the execution, and it's always there. So what about the people? How do you get to the people? And that takes me to the next question that I want to ask you now. As you write, as a writer, as a poet, as an artist, what role do books play in fostering empathy and understanding across different cultures and the societies? Not just for the bourgeois, not just for government recognition or whatever. How does it penetrate? How does it reach out?
It is actually art that set the tone. It's actually the creative things. Even if you don't see the artists as being the celebrities or having all the monies, since money is what we celebrate now, or having all the gusto and the touche, even if you don't see them as that, the people who make the laws know where they get their inspiration. The policy makers read up or listen or watch TV or listen to radio, or they go to watch art. You get it? These are where the sources of inspiration come. You can't reinvent the wheel, but the artist has a way of making those wheels that you can't reinvent, making you understand some aspects of the wheel that you can touch up. So the artist, it is left for the artist to find a way to also push the envelope open more and show what the people, what we have forgotten. You see your image of children in the library. That's the best thing that can happen to the growth of that child. That's the best thing. If you don't have a library at home, you are empty. If you don't buy books, you are empty. If you don't savor artworks, you're gone. That's exactly what William Shakespeare said. If music be the food of it, play it on. Give me excess of it.
Okay.
You understand?
Do we still have writers that write like Chinua Achebe?
Is Chinua Achebe not a writer?
No. I say writers that write like him. Okay, because that's why I asked that question. He touched the aspect of our living, our culture, everything about us. That when you sit down to read Things Fall Apart, to your grandparents say that they don't know how to read and write. When he says yes, you know, that's true. No, that's the way we live. My father told me. So he captured the way of life of the people. Do we still have writers like that?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's hear about it.
And almost every writer has that capacity, except if he didn't bend down to look inward. What matters most in storytelling, which is what exactly writers do, what matters most in storytelling is telling your story.
Yes.
Chinua Achebe just understood the art of telling his story. Which is why he was able to write about our roots. You understand? He was able to write about our culture in a way that in a picturesque way. It makes it look like you are seeing your community.
You are seeing yourself.
It makes it look like you're seeing a character, you know, within your nativity. It makes you look like he's using the expressions that are clearly indigenous to you. And you begin to live up to it. And that is exactly, so Chinua Achebe only did not do it alone. That is why when Nollywood came in 1991, you understand, when Nollywood came, there were other things that were existing. Film industry making, art that was like, that was going on. But when Nollywood came and our people internationalized this art of telling our story. The whole world looked at it as if they are seeing it for the first time. But they were seeing films made in Nigeria since 1940-something, since 1950-something. You understand? There were films. But when people consciously begin to tell their stories from a plethora of ways, multiple dimensions, people now begin to aggregate towards it, either as audiences or listeners or viewers, or aggregate towards it as creators, like writers, artists, and filmmakers. You understand? It begins to form a hub of attention. So, and that is exactly what events like this year's theme are supposed to highlight. It's supposed to make us think of bringing the society into what we are doing. Bringing development. Mind you, development is not only economical, it's not only political, it's not only in sports or scientific. Development is multiple dimensioned. So that is what it is all about. Yeah. But the thing about it is the copyright end of it.
Okay.
The copyright end of it is that the biggest undoing to the creative industry, to the writer and to the artist, is the failure of the society to acknowledge his copyright and make him make a living from it.
Okay. Let's hold that copyright. I'm still coming to that because I have a question for that. But for now, let's look at how the writers are faring with the new digital media, trying to cope or rather remain relevant. Because I know what it's like now. I can't remember when last I went to the library to go and find books to read. And just like that with so many other people around, especially the new generation. So in that case, I want to find out, in an era dominated by digital media, how can we rekindle a passion for reading among younger generations? I have some children in the house that don't even know what is library. I'm sorry to say this.
I am thinking that we are mistaking the vehicle for the journey. We are mistaking the road to the destination. The fact that digitization or digital appliances, let me break it down, like your handset, your computer, even the television is a new generation, and radio are new generation vehicles of mass communication and of communication. The fact that they've become vehicles of conveying knowledge does not negate the fact that a library is like a cage. You understand? It is a pouch of knowledge. It's a treasure box. It is the library you're talking about, not the books that populate the library. Without the books, you can still have the library. Alexandria, for example, in Egypt, the world-known oldest library in Alexandria. Even the wars and even Benito Mussolini's attack on Egypt couldn't eliminate it, because if you have the knowledge preserved in some other forms, it's still the library. Okay. The fact that people are using phone to read and they don't read the papier, the hard cover thing, doesn't mean that they don't read. In fact, I have argued, including several times some years ago in this studio, that the children of these days read more than us, the adults. Do you know the quantity of material? In fact, they have more faculty for reading. They read on their phones.
All the messages.
Yes, those are writings that they read. So the fact that they are not conveniently exposed or conveniently tilted to reading it in the hardcover books does not mean that they don't read. What we should be talking about is how do we keep that art of preserving preserving knowledge in hard, cold, black prints, black and white. Do you understand? That's what we should be talking.
That's what we should be talking
about, not that they don't read.
Yes, we should, and also trying to create an environment or a scenario whereby you let people know that in as much as you read through your phone, you can also read this hard copy. Then tell them the advantages you have okay, having this copy. Like if you lose your phone now, okay, they'll tell you that everything is in Google. But that's you know, kind of a thing, okay? And then the how to concentrate more in reading, because we are reading through this, a lot of things are distracting you.
Those,
okay,
those are about habits.
Yes, but if I want to read through my phone, messages will be coming this and that because your data is on. But if you read with book, you
have them preserved and you have a reference.
Yes.
Yes, what you're saying is right. But I would also tell you that in the next 10 years, there's something we call obsolescence in communication. That is technological or electronical obsolescence. Makes it that the material, this phone you are using today, imagine iPhone that came yesterday, after Motorola, Nokia, and all the rest, after we had Android, all forms of Android that came. iPhone is now in 20-something. Are you catching up?
Yes.
So before you and I even leave the scene, we may have another technology that will overtake iPhone that we will. That's the level of obsolescence. These children of today, very soon, these things that they are reading through digital or through the phones will just become so obsolete, and they will be the ones complaining that their children don't read. If it were to be in their time, that they will have their phone and they are online. It's about technology. It's about the change of age. But let me actually tell you, those who stick to the original form of creating art are those who enjoy the prizes of art market. Let me explain. Within the last 6 months, I have done 2 books, manuscripts. I'm doing 2 currently. As I am. I am not a foolish man. I'm not stupid. I keep writing, and every book I do, I try to find money to print hard copies. It is such that I am struggling with my children to give them breathing space in their rooms, because I don't find much buyers. I am not stupid. I'm not naive. I am sure that one day it will be wealth to me and him or her. That is my child. Do you get? What we need to do is, you don't leave that art. There's a reason. It's a vocation. It's a call. There's a reason why you have that card. You keep to that. It's just like a sportsman. You see a child that has potentials for athletics or for football or whatever, and you say, don't do it. Do you know, does your father know the road to Spain to take you to Barcelona or Real Madrid or to England to send you to Arsenal or Man U or Man City? No. What the spirit, the agents that brought that talent to him will bring the parts that will take him to wherever he's going. So I'm not worried.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get to the copyright issue now.
Yeah.
Because that's where we'll have a lot of problems at hand. So why is copyright protection crucial for authors and the publishing industry is my #1 question. And then with the rise of digital content sharing, how can we balance accessibility to literature with the rights of the creator? Okay, so how do we know who has what? You get to WhatsApp, people share messages, this and that. So where does the owner of that come in? And what is the Copyright Commission doing to make sure that the owner gets credit for his or her work?
You see, I will start from either your second question to your third, or second to first and your third.
Okay.
Copyright enforcement or enjoyment of the creator's copyright is one of the biggest challenges of this topic that we have in Nigeria. You know why? Let me give you an example. If Nigeria were to be, and it is not only the poor or underling that suffer it. Everybody is suffering from it. Everybody is abusing it too. Do you know that somebody like Patience Goodluck Jonathan, would have been one of the richest persons in the world, or at least in Africa, if her copyrights are enforced. Do I make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You open your phone and you have this sound backups to most of the comedies and most of the. See, no let you come here. Hey, there is God, though. You keep hearing that. You know the voice. It is her copyright. If it is well enforced, she will be making billions.
Yeah, but that's what
daily.
The comedians are using now.
Good.
To pep
it's
their
because
way.
it is not being enforced. I give you somebody like Kiss Daniel, the musician. The young man should rightly be the richest musician in
he's
Nigeria.
quite rich.
No, but he should be the richest by his copyright, not just by performance rights and all the rest. Because when during the last campaign, political campaign, everybody was using the song Buga and dancing his dancer. It is his copyright. He should be paid for it. You know such songs as Stand Up for the Champion, stand up. Everybody now sings it. It goes everywhere. We use it in places. But there are people who have the copyright. Then back to your first question. Yeah. We are abusing people's copyright. There are boys, even small. There's a small boy that just his peculiar way of laughter, from laughter to weeping, some
from weeping to laughter.
To laughter. Sitting on the that boy shouldn't have any cause to be looking for money to go to school if he is actually out.
He's making money. Somebody has made a case for him.
Yes. So, but why? Back to your first question. The first question: why is copyright enforcement not popular? It is because of the naivety of our society. Every lawyer wants to be a commercial lawyer. Wants to go into legal cases that involve lands. You understand? He wants to, even it is easier to be a charge and bail from the police station than to engage in copyright things. And the lawyers don't take up, not just take up, they don't tend to understand issues in copyright too. And not many people go into it. Even the law enforcement agencies who are supposed to be enforcing it, don't even know much about the copyright. So
the failure of the institution.
So it's a failure of the legal system that makes the copyright there. Finally, to your third question, the copyright, Nigerian Copyright Commission, at least I knew it as a student. You understand? And I don't think I'm talking of, it's almost 4 decades now. So it has been long since it was established. And it has all the departments and all the institutions. As a child, as a budding young writer.
Has anybody been jailed? Has anybody been fined, for copyright issue?
Actually, you're juggling my brain because I can't remember anyone handy. So that is exactly the issue.
Institutions are not working.
But there are some institutions you will set the state will set up and they don't empower it. And there are some institutions you don't have the right persons to do that. But I remember, at least I know when Moses Eko, I'm very close to that. I'm a member of, when we were growing up, we were Young Writers Association of Nigeria. In fact, this is our library and headquarters on our Apapa Road in Lagos, Surulere, Lagos. And 2 blocks to it, we will have the headquarters of National Human Rights Commission. I remember the era of Moses Eko, a very grounded intellectual and very deep in this field. I remember the era of Dr. Adebambo, now later Professor Adebambo, a seasoned copyright lawyer. So they've had several people and several others. But what I am thinking is that system is not as funded as it is because it can also be making more money for the creative industry and for the country.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll look at other issues that has to do with what we are talking about today, which is the World Book Day. We talked to some people on the streets, and then they aired their minds. Let's hear them now.
Book reading is quite important to each and every one of us in the community at large, because it helps us grab so much knowledge and at least help us enhance our daily livings and every other thing pertaining to livelihood. And then we need to always make sure that our authors are protected, because so many of them are left out to the public because of some certain things.
By ensuring that we punish those who plagiarism, we discourage plagiarism. When you copy, copy somebody's work, that is plagiarism. So we have to discourage plagiarism. This is the only way to protect the authors of books.
Book reading cannot help us in a small way. Book reading, one of the things that made the world the way it is because people read books. When you read the books improve your capacity. It boosts your knowledge. And you know that the way for us to improve as a society or a group or individual or whatever is our knowledge. And that knowledge is gotten through book reading. So book reading, we can say, is at the center of everything.
Imbibing a reading culture is a sine qua non to broadening one's intellectual horizon. It's very important that you read. Reading, if you want to get knowledge, you read. If you want to acquire knowledge, you read. So it's very important. If you want to acquire new knowledge and new skills, you read.
Egwu akwụkwọ dị mma maka na mmụọ ị na-agụ akwụkwọ mmụọ ka ị na-afụ ihe na-amaburo before. Like example, enwere exam, ọ bụ na ọgwụ akwụkwọ ọfụma, o nwere ike ọ bụ na ihe a ga-ede na exam na ọ fụgie, and ọ dịlị very easy because no bụ akwụkwọ ya day and night na-agwụ. So egwu akwụkwọ dị mma.
We have to punish, plagiarism has to be punished. This is the only way to discourage, copying somebody's work.
Onwe office na-register. Ịmalụ na nke dị official, ebe register nke gị ọ dị official, so that ka ndị task force wee ike wee chọpụta ndị a na-abụ adịgboroja. So no ihe nwere ikwu for that.
So it gives us versatile knowledge. Virtually everything is found in the books. So people who read books are great people. They are developers. They are people that initiate things. They are people that do so many things. There is nothing you can do without reading books. It improves your ability as a person. It makes you to be versatile in everything you are going to do.
Give it to the last speaker. You want to be a great person, you read your book. The great minds are the leaders of every nation, and the John does come up from the motor parks. They read. Do you agree with me?
All the respondents. All the respondents.
Like we chose them.
As I was telling you when we were off the screen, I said that you got some very informed respondents, particularly that last person. When he spoke in Igbo, but he got it perfectly.
Yes.
And let me actually tell you, I was once a board member. I sat in the board of Repronic, the body in charge of copyright of non-fiction books. Then I was the National Secretary General of the Society of Nigerian Artists. So I sat in that board for almost 8 years. And what we found out is not only people who don't know about copyright that abuse copyright. The biggest centers of abuse of copyright are in the schools. All those people who reproduce handouts and bind, they are other people's works. Even photostatic. In some countries, what we do photocopying You understand? There's a number you do.
You take somebody's book and you go and then photocopy
yes,
all the chapters.
in some countries, you will be charged, you go in for it. Then in the markets, people's copyright. You do a film, or you buy these books you see, you find out that most of those are fake prints. Some people who have printing machines, you go behind their blog.
We see a lot of things. Even
yes.
the books that the children use in the schools,
Those are the
government will provide it free,
yes.
and then they will go and duplicate it. Schools will go and duplicate it and clean that place that with this copy is free, and then reproduce it in very dirty color, because it will come with a very beautiful color from the original source. It's a horrible thing. So we are very short of time.
All that, yes, yeah.
Okay, so let's just conclude by asking, what is the future of libraries and bookstores in the digital age, and how can they remain relevant?
If I have money, I will buy off all libraries that are about to be sold, because I know I'm going to be not just a billionaire, but a trillionaire because of them. When it's just like people buying up people who had the foresight of buying artworks when their owners want to let them off. Artworks, just these plastic pieces that those paintings and sculptures that you see on the road, they are all treasures. They are lying waste because of people's lack of knowledge. But those who know about them, who rake them up in their tiny kobo and penny amount at the ripe time. Because buying an artwork is more rewarding than investing in land. You know how land appreciates.
Really?
You don't know. The artworks, even the ones you have in the studio here, if you can give me, I'll hold them, I'll take them.
No, I'm not going to give you.
So the artworks do go appreciate. I can actually make 2,000%.
From somebody's work? That's the copyright we are talking now. It's not your work now.
No.
It's somebody's work.
I don't do that. When I buy, you give me your provenance. I buy you. You give me a receipt of my purchase.
Oh, okay.
You understand? It will be on record that you transferred your copyright.
That was a transaction.
Yeah. So then, what you said about libraries may go extinct for people who don't know.
But we established here that libraries are not just the place you keep books.
What you need
there
to
are a lot of things in the library, like this artwork can be in the library, and then even the electronics and everything you can still find them in the library. What
you need is to get one or two persons. I can consult for you. I don't have the time, but you have to pay anyway. I can consult for you. I make your library electronically adaptable. You understand? I can also, it's not just making it electronically adaptable. I can make your library space interactive.
So who is going to pay here now?
I can make it an event.
Who is going to pay now? Is it you or I?
You will pay me.
No, you are marketing yourself. You say I will pay you.
Okay. So
we have a price for that.
So keep your question. I'll keep my answer.
we have a price for that. Okay, the Chuka I know, it's not just a writer. It's a poet.
Yes.
And don't among them.
How wish no poetry kind
Senior among them. Now, this is who you are. You are not just a writer. If I do, I'm going to be a poet. Senior Chalomo.
Okay, I'll give you a piece of the new work. It's still in manuscript. It's not one of the works that you know.
Okay.
It's a piece I'm writing. I am doing about 3 works for one have already been done. But I'm doing 2 works for children literature. That is for high school, that is Ndiaina secondary school and primary school. This word you call a scam, that word is actually circling you into a scam. Go to school, you call it scam. Go to church, you call it scam. Be yourself, you say scam. Open up so that the world will see you, you say scam. So what actually is your scheme? Scheme the world. I say scheme the world. Try and play your own scheme, your own fraud on the world and get yourself to be a success. This world is not a scam. You are only scamming yourself when you don't aspire to scheme through.
Oh. Ah.
Thank you.
This is good. Very good. I really enjoyed it. So
Really?
when is this one coming up? It's still in the process.
I'm looking forward towards the middle of this year.
Oh.
Towards either this second quarter or the third quarter.
It's good. We also want to have it here so that
Really?
we'll produce
You
it.
will pay.
No, we'll produce as a Django.
You will pay.
We are servicing the We want to reach out now. We use it. This is a medium to reach out. We put it on our radio and then we playing it, and these children will be hearing it. That this is what you are doing to yourself, and thinking you are doing to the world. That kind of a thing. That's what I got from what you just said.
Wonderful.
Now you are
So I got
scamming
the
yourself.
message out.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you are
wow.
scamming yourself
I clap for
by
myself.
thinking that the world is a scam. I clapped for you anyway. I did. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very much. We looked at World Book and Copyright Day 2025 as we looked at celebrating books, protecting authors and their rights. And I had Sachuka Nnabife. Sachuka Nnabife is an author and an international renowned journalist, an author of 6 books. He is also the managing director of Anambra State Civic and Social Reformation Office. Chuka is a fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, fellow of the Society of Nigerian Artists, and then he was the immediate past managing director and chief executive officer of the Anambra newspapers and Printing Corporation, publishers of National Light, a group of newspapers, and Nigerian Cultural Ambassador, among others. I'd like to thank you for joining us today, Chuka Nnabife.
I'm grateful.
You're also my boyfriend, you know.
Thank you very much. You've told the world, so you can't lie again.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, that's how it's been this morning on our discussion segment. Good morning, Anambra.